Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 17 Ultimate Team pack opening. We haven't done one of these in a while, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, easily the reason why I haven't been doing pack openings because the pack odds were trash. MUT was bland. It wasn't fun. I honestly didn't really hop on MUT the past 2 weeks. You guys haven't really seen MUT videos, and that's the reason why. Just no incentive to do it. I'd rather play Draft Champions if I had to play anything. And, you know, they had no good promos. The Color Rush promo was an absolute disaster in my opinion. And honestly, it felt like they were just screwing us over the first month of the year. They gave us bad elite toppers, or bad toppers from bundles. They gave us bad solo challenge rewards. So many non-auctionable players as rewards that were just kind of, well, not kind of, they're really annoying. And it just felt like they're giving us a big slap in the face because we had good solo challenge. We had great solo challenge rewards last year. If anything, too good of solo challenge reward last year. And they gave us nothing this year. The toppers were just like 2 MUT gear collectibles or something stupid like that. And, you know, the community spoke up, and I think they're finally starting to listen. So that's the good news in MUT. They definitely gave us a great set of defensive, gauntlet solo challenges for October. Great new rewards. I think they're coming out with Journey solo challenges soon. So I think they're turning the tide, especially for the no money spent players. Because obviously when you spend money, you're just going to get good pulls eventually, even if the pack odds are bad. But speaking of the pack odds, one of the other things I feel like they changed, I feel like they gave us a little bit better pack odds. I don't know if they really changed it much. I don't know, it's just in our heads that we're just like, oh, MUT's cool, man. We got good pack odds. But I feel like the pack odds did get changed a little bit, especially if anybody's been pulling those Team of the Week packs. I feel like those are pretty juiced up compared to like the past packs. We're opening up legend packs. This was over the weekend, as you guys can see, as we pull Lane Johnson right there. There is one elite collectible per pack, so you don't want to get too excited when you see an elite. But when you see an elite flash after you pull a legend collectible, like we got there after with the Lane Johnson, then you get a little bit excited as we continue pulling these packs. So that's the scene of MUT lately. I think they're starting to turn things around, so I won't get too hard on them. This is definitely a good promise for the BCA promo coming up soon. You guys know they do that every October. That should be pretty exciting. So, you know, hopefully they're turning the corner. Hopefully they're listening to us. And if they don't, we'll come back and start complaining, because the people with the biggest voice is the players. You guys really are the biggest voice. Like, just 1 or 2 people can say something, but everybody just mounts up and, you know, doesn't buy packs. Then what are they gonna do? They gotta change something up. If people don't play the game and that's legitimately what happened, everybody just went to 2K, then they gotta change it up. So that's that. What we're gonna talk about for the rest of this video is some NFL Week 4 action, because it was definitely an interesting week. We're starting to find out who's the contenders and who's the pretenders. Obviously, you don't want to read too far into it, because you have every year a team like the Falcons last year who went 5-0 and then, you know, didn't do too well for the rest of the season. And then you'll have a team like the Chiefs who, oh baby, Cam Newton. Pause that thought. We just pulled Cam. Oh, pack odds might actually be stepping up, man. Cam's going for like 80,000 coins, something like that. That's probably our second best pull of the year, besides that limited edition Eric Decker. So that's really hype right there. But yeah, you'll have teams like the Chiefs last year who went 1-5, and then, you know, they won like almost every single, I think they actually did win like every single game left in the regular season. So, you know, there are those teams. And the Bengals almost became the Chiefs of last year, where they would have had a bad record, but no one would have said anything. They were 1-2 to start the season, but they did play some tough competition, including the Broncos last week. And, you know, there's no shame in losing to the Denver Broncos, the defending Super Bowl champions. Trevor Siemian's deep ball was insane, looking for Sanders and Thomas. And the Bengals definitely had the best turnaround game possible. At home, you get Vontaze Burfict back, and you can definitely tell Vontaze Burfict had an immediate impact on that defense. The Dolphins only scored 7 points, and that was off of one somewhat fluky deep ball to Kenny Stills, where he was just wide open. The Bengals looked dominant in that game. The score was 7-22, but, you know, it definitely felt like it was more than that, because they just kicked so many field goals. The Bengals have a little bit of a problem in the red zone. They're still missing Tyler Eifert. They're still waiting for that team to come back into shape, but slowly but surely, the Bengals are starting to pick up the heat. Not too worried about them. Dalton and AJ Green are on fire this season. AJ Green is playing like one of the best receivers out there. Right now, he's probably the 3rd best behind Antonio Brown and Julio Jones, who are wrestling for that #1 spot. But AJ Green is on fire this season. He just easily deserves to be in that top 3 consideration. And then for the Dolphins, it's still the same Dolphins team. They lack an identity. Their offensive line is still trash. Tannehill's not great, but he's not bad either. He's just a mid-tier quarterback, and you're getting what you would expect from a mid-tier quarterback against a great defense, which is not much. And the Dolphins lose that game. Dolphins defense, they're okay, but you know, it's just the offense just change coaches every year. And when you do hire an offensive guru like Adam Gase, you hope to score more than 7 points, but, you know, they're just a mess. They can't run the ball because the offensive line's bad. It's just, Same Dolphins every year. Moving on to the Jaguars and the Colts. It's almost same Colts every year now. Speaking of that, these guys played Sunday morning in London, and the Colts are doing the same Colts thing they do every single year. They just don't put talent around their franchise quarterback. Andrew Luck's playing great this year, in my opinion at least. You can say they're like 1-3 this year, and their one win was a last-second T.Y. Hilton break a tackle and take it to the crib win. But no, I think Andrew Luck's playing great. It's just that, their offensive line, just like the Dolphins, is terrible every single year and gets this man wrecked. They don't have a run game because of that. Their running back is Frank Gore. That's the best running back. And he's like 35 years old, a little bit of exaggeration. So, I mean, the Colts are stuck. They're still in a division that's winnable, though, but they're not going to win the division at this rate. Let's just put it that way. They really need some sort of breakout star, especially on the defensive end, to help them out, because they're just not getting pressure at the quarterback. It's just too easy for other teams, it feels like. And then their offense, you need Andrew Luck to just pull a rabbit out of his ass every single time. For the Jaguars, this is a big win, though, because this is the first win of the season. But if you're gonna, win a winnable division like the AFC South, that's a bit of a tongue twister. You gotta beat division rivals. You gotta do good in your own division. Gotta beat the Texans, gotta beat the Colts, and they beat the Colts. They took care of business right there. Do I believe the Jaguars will win the division? No, I don't think they have the talent to do that. I don't think they're ready this year. I think they still need to round up into shape, but that was definitely a big win in London against the Colts, stopping Luck at that last second. Even though he probably could have ran for that first down. But yeah, it's the same Colts every single year. The Jaguars, I feel like, are a little bit improved. They're knocking on the door. Not this year, though. Not in my opinion. Bills and Patriots, I would just throw that game out for the Patriots. Jacoby Brissett didn't look good at all. It's just like Brady's coming back next week. So I would just throw that game away. I still think the Patriots are one, if not the best team in the AFC. For the Bills, though, this is great. This is great. Buffalo's, they went against one of the best defenses in the league. They looked efficient. Tyrod Taylor looked pretty good out there. Tyrod was making good decisions. The defense obviously locked up and held to 0 points. And, you gotta think Rex Ryan loves putting a goose egg on Bill Belichick's team as we get our Javon Curse out of our full legend topper right there. So, for the Bills, definitely good for them. We'll see what happens, though. The Bills play the Rams next week. We'll see their offense gets bogged down a little bit. That's still a winnable game, though. The Bills might have a chance to come out the next 2 weeks forward, too, and then they just come out of nowhere. It's like firing their offensive coordinator was actually the move. We'll see how that works out. Titans and Texans. The Titans just look like they're destined for a top 3 pick this year. They just don't have talent on that team. Marcus Mariota's not playing well at all. Like, I like Marcus Mariota, but whenever I watch him play, he just looks so, like, frantic. He just looks like he's not settled. He looks like he's just, moving around too much, and he just looks a little bit too overwhelmed out there. DeMarco's playing pretty well. DeMarco Murray, he and Derrick Henry both. Is a good running game, but there's not really much receiving weapons out there, and Marcus Mariota, I don't know, he just doesn't look like he's playing too well. And then, of course, the defense isn't that great. They did play well against the Texans. They lost off of a punt return to Will Fuller, and then they fired their special teams guy the next week, or the next day. But, I don't think the Titans are really that good. The Texans, they look good enough. It's just really how far Brock Osweiler can take them, because Brock kind of held them back through pretty bad interceptions that game, trying to just force it to his playmakers. But yeah, that team goes as far as Brock takes, and we'll see how that goes. I think they're the favorites to win the division, though, just based off of talent around that team. Lions and Bears, that's just, I really don't want to spend too much time talking about that game. I really thought the Lions could win that game, but I guess they just couldn't go on the road and win at Soldier Field. That was a game they had to win to at least establish some sort of threat that they're a decent team, because it looked like they were playing decent. It looked like Stafford was playing well. He was locked in, even with Golden Tate not playing well at all. But I don't even think Golden Tate played yesterday, man. I had him in fantasy. He didn't get anything. I think they actually benched him last week. But yeah, I don't know. The Lions and Bears, they're just going to finish somewhere in the middle to the bottom. They're not even division, they're conference. So that's not going to work too much. By the way, pull that T.Y. Hilton and a Mel Blanc collectible. First of all, that's about like 15K in the Mel Blanc collectible, if not 20K. And the T.Y. is going for like 80K, so that was great. The Falcons and Panthers, that was probably the biggest game out there where it was like, wow, the Falcons put up points. Julio put up 300. The Falcons, a little bit skeptical about them because their defense is still really bad. And I do not think that's a formula to help them win their division. But who is going to win the division? The Bucs look bad. They look terrible against I know it's the Broncos, but they look bad all season. They just, I don't know, the Buccaneers are another team that just don't have the talent. Jameis is looking a little bit shaky out there. He looks great sometimes, and then, just makes some really back-breaking decisions other times. And the Broncos look great, by the way. Speaking of that team, they're 4-0. Like, who really picked them to go 4-0? I don't know, but They look good out there. Back to the Panthers and Falcons. I still think the Panthers are good enough to make the playoffs. I think they've gone against tough competition. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones were just locked in that game, but they definitely have problems in their secondary they got to figure out soon because there were just people wide open sometimes in that game. And the Falcons, I'm a little bit skeptical about them, but, you know, they can score a lot of points. If they score more than their defense gives up, it's all good, man. The problem is their defense is still giving up like 30+ points in their wins to the Saints and the Panthers. The Seahawks and Jets, that was an expected result. Fitzpatrick looks bad this season. Fitzpatrick's kind of holding the Jets back. They have talent, but they just do not have a quarterback right now. Keep it real. Fitzpatrick's not looking like he's turning the corner. He's looking like the Fitzpatrick of old, if anything. The Fitzpatrick that we've known for years. And the Seahawks are looking like the Seahawks that we've known for years. Sherman got a little bit picked on by Brandon Marshall, but he definitely redeemed himself in the second half. And then the Legion of Boom, they're doing their thing. The offense looks great with Russell Wilson out there. Jimmy Graham looked great today. I know the Jets don't really do a good job of covering tight ends, but Jimmy Graham looked great yesterday. And Doug Baldwin's putting up great numbers once again. The Raiders and Ravens was one hell of a game. Shout out to the Raiders. They look like they're messing around with maybe winning that division, if not maybe a wild card berth. The Ravens, I think their start was a little bit of a fluke, as many people do. They just play bad teams. They're still a decent team. I just think they're like an 8-8 or 7-9 team. Browns and Redskins. Browns, for the third week in a row, had a chance to win the game. It's a little bit disappointing. They had a chance to win for 3 weeks in a row, and they just blew it, and they ended up losing. But, actually, I'm running out of time for this video. This is the last pack, so this is actually the last team we're going to talk about. I'll try to make another video tomorrow, maybe. Open up some Team of the Week packs and go over the rest of the teams, but, you know, the Browns and Redskins game, the Redskins, I still don't think they're that good. Their defense isn't that good. They can't stop the run. And the Browns actually look better than we may think they are. They just can't close games out. But it's okay. The Browns' year isn't this year. But Terrell Pryor, man, he looks good. That's my last thought today. Terrell Pryor looks good. He beat Norman on a play with safety help. Pryor's actually a legitimate receiver. It's a good thing because he doesn't really play quarterback too well. But yeah, leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time.